Could New York become a red state come the November 3rd election of this year? Maybe. No, it's not a guarantee. I'm not a, I'm not a fortune teller. I can't look into the future. But based on what's everything that's going on right now, there's a high chance that New York might turn red for that election. And here's why. I'm going to show you the 1984 election results. And this one was when Ronald Reagan was running for re-election, and he was running against Mondale. Now, in 1984, Ronald Reagan literally won by a landslide, winning all states except for one, and then Washington, D.C., of course. But other than that, Ronald Reagan won by a landslide. And if you weren't aware, at the time, New York was leaning more towards blue at the time, but that's what happens, right? Now, when it comes to the general election, usually when it comes to candidates going to different states to campaign, one of the things that, at least from what I was taught, again, that the information could be outdated because, again, it's been 5 years since I studied American politics. But from what I was taught, is that usually when it comes to campaigning, when it comes to the general election, usually candidates do not go to states that are hard color states. In this case, for example, what I mean by hard color states, I'm referring to those that are hard blue or hard red. For example, I say California. California is a definite blue. Every time when there's a general election, usually the Democrat wins it. So a Republican is not going to spend a lot of money when it comes to getting the vote from California. Now, granted, obviously it isn't advised that you do not invest in that state because, again, you want to get as many votes as possible. But a Republican isn't going to spend a lot of his money, a lot of his resources or her resources on a state like California. The same thing goes for, let's say, a Democrat in Texas. Not granted, well, Texas, you can't get votes because there are Democrats in Texas. A Democrat isn't going to be investing as much money, let's say, I don't know, in Texas, because Texas is a hard red state. Usually when it comes to general election, many of these politicians, those who are running for the presidency, they try to focus on the swing states because swing states, they tend to teeter-totter between red and blue. For example, let's say a good one could be maybe Colorado. Colorado is considered a swing state, at least to my knowledge, and that's worse. And that is where a candidate would want to consider campaigning because it's not certain whether or not they're going to vote red or blue. But when it comes to New York is a hard blue state. It's a very solid blue state, and Trump is willing to put a lot of resources into this state. But why? Well, I'll explain to you why. In the last couple of months, all we've seen are riots, destruction, chaos, and Trump is willing to make a bet that he's willing to turn New York red this time around. Now, granted, maybe it's a one-time thing. Maybe if New York does turn red, maybe it's only going to be because of Trump. We never know. Maybe after that we might see New York turn blue after that. We never know. But there's a high chance that New York could vote red because of all the chaos that's been going around the state. Riots, destruction, looting, violence, right? The defunding of police departments. Donald Trump can talk to a lot of the people in New York and just basically tell them what he wants, what they want to hear. Now, granted, Trump might not have to fulfill his promises, but again, Trump is a guy who says if he's going to do something, he's going to do it. All Trump has to do is go to New York and say the Democrats have failed you. They've defunded your police departments. They've endangered your lives. If you vote for me, I'm going to increase funding for your police departments. I'm going to make your city safer. I'm going to make New York a great city like it used to be. Because New York City was a good city. People wanted to go to New York City. People wanted to go like places like Chicago and LA. They wanted to go to places where basically, and also San Francisco too. But what happened to many of these great cities? Well, they were run by Democrats and then they all went to shit. Like, really, I'm part of my language, but it's true. It really is true. And the reason why I say this is because usually when I like to listen to music, and one of the songs that I like, that I'm not really like, that I love, is Living in America by James Brown. And in the song, James Brown's talking about all these great cities in the United States. LA, Chicago, Detroit, Austin, Texas, all these great cities. But what I noticed is that many of these cities that he mentions at the time, yeah, they were great because they were run properly. But many of the cities that, for example, Chicago, LA, are not great anymore because they're run by Democrats. So maybe New York could turn red this year. I don't know. Maybe. It's not a hard bet. I'm not willing to bet yet that New York is going to be red. But seeing what has happened in the last few months, I'm willing to bet that a lot of New Yorkers are willing to take a chance with Trump. But let's see what's going on. Bullish Trump. We're putting New York in play. Speaking to the New York Post, President Donald Trump confidently predicted that he would make a competitive run in the traditionally Democratic state of New York in the 2020 election. Trump noted that soaring rates of violent crime and the high taxes in the state, as he asserted that New York City shootings are double Murders, everything have doubled and tripled, and I've heard numbers of 244% on some kinds of crimes. What is it, 277% for shootings? I'll solve the crime problem. I'll solve their tax problem. I'll solve all their problems. Who would not vote for me? We're gonna look into salt. We're gonna look into crime. We're gonna go in. Sorry, we're going to look into all the things and solve the problems. Again, Trump is trying to get votes. New York is all we see is crime, murder, destruction, rioting, looting. All Trump has to do is show up and say, the Democrats have failed you. Vote for me, and I will ensure that you have safe neighborhoods, you have safe cities, you have clean cities. I'll make sure that the taxes are going to be lower so you have more money for yourself. That's all he has to say. And I guarantee you, a lot of New Yorkers are going to be willing to take that chance. Like I said, not a lot of people. I might want to take that risk. But if the Democrats are giving them chaos and destruction, people do not want that. I do not know a single person who wants to live in a city that has high crime rates. I know I don't want to live in a city like that. That is why I prefer the suburbs or even rural areas. Now my parents give me that crazy face because you want to live in a rural area in the middle of nowhere. Yes. You want to know why? Because I can stockpile on canned foods, right? Beans, stuff like that. And then I don't have to worry about the city. I don't have to worry about traffic. I can just go into my backyard. I can have a little garden. My girlfriend likes to have gardens. She likes to plant stuff. We can just live in the middle of nowhere. I can have kids who run in the front yard, in the backyard. They don't have to worry about, making too much noise because we're literally in the middle of nowhere. That's why I do not like cities. I live in a city currently and I don't like it, right? But again, that's just me. Anyways, let's keep going. We did well last time, but to get over 50% is hard for a Republican, and it's true. Like I said, New York is a very hard, solid blue state. Usually, candidates do not want to go to solid states because they do not want to risk that money. Right? That money could be used elsewhere. Like I said, based on political science, a Republican isn't going to invest that much money on a state like California, and a Democrat isn't going to invest that much money in a state like Texas or Florida, for that matter. Right? But we're putting New York in play. We're going to play it very strong and very hard, and we're going to try to win New York. If he does, I'll applaud him for that. Because New York, again, is solid blue state. It's very hard to turn that red. Peter, I'm sorry, Ajemian, I think Ajemian. I'm sorry, I'm sorry for the mispronunciation if I did pronounce it wrong. The communications director for New York Governor Andrew Cuomo reacted. President Trump needs to stop lying. All income tax rates are lower today than when Governor Cuomo took office. The only person who raised New York state taxes was Trump with SALT. Over the last 6 months, what happened is insane, Trump told the Post. It's insane, so we're going to try very hard to win New York, and that will be the first time that since Reagan, and yes, Reagan did win New York at the time. That's the image that I just showed you. I guess since Ronald Reagan, I will bring down taxes, and I'll make sure that New York City is a safe place. It is a cherished diamond of this country, and we won't let this happen to New York. I think we have a tremendous shot. I think we have a very good shot. Now, typically it's not in play, but we're going to put a strong move on New York. We may also do it in New Jersey, by the way. We're going to invest in there. We'll visit. I'm going to put it down, as you know, on the list. Trump continued. For instance, we think we're going to win New Mexico. We think we're going to win Minnesota. We think we'll have a shot perhaps at Virginia because they have a very, very strange governor. Yeah, Mr. Ralph Blackface Northam. Yeah, that guy. White House political director Brian Jack chimed in. The first thing I say as I look at congressional races in New York, you got at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 competitive seats. And in some of these seats, the president carried by very wide margins. You look at New York 11, District 11, New York District 19, there's quite a few opportunities in upstate as well. Trump predicted Republicans will pick up a lot. But here's the thing. Like I said, I am not a fortune teller. I cannot predict the future. But like I said, what's going on in New York right now? Riots, chaos, the defunding of police departments, the far left literally destroying the city. The rich already left the city. Governor Cuomo is literally begging for them to come back, and Mayor Bill de Blasio is saying, "Oh, we don't need you." Not to mention, I think he's buying properties. I guess it could be wrong, but he's buying properties of the people that have abandoned the city or sometimes even abandoned the state, right? That's the thing. New Yorkers, like I said, I don't think anyone in their right minds would want to live in a city with high crime. I know I don't, and I'm a moderate. I'm a centrist. I'm a fence sitter, hence my channel name. I'm a fence sitter. Even my parents, who are classical liberals, do not want to live in a city filled with crime. That is why right now when we're looking into homes, because I do want to purchase a home, I am actually going to help him pitch in to buy a house. We're looking into places where we want to live. We're not going to go live in Oakland. We're not going to go live in places like LA. We're going to be living more in the suburbs. We're going to be looking to areas where it's a lot safer, right, in terms of lower crime rates and reliable police, right? That's what we're doing. We're researching. But Oakland has not come to mind. LA hasn't come into mind. San Francisco, nope, not even on the list. We're looking into suburbs. There's areas that are safe, like Irvine. We're looking into more like areas like Perris. That's what we're looking at right now. But like I said, no one wants to live in a high crime area. Hence, Donald Trump, like I said, he might have a chance to turn New York red for at least this election only. Maybe. Again, it's a maybe. But again, no one wants to live in an area filled with crime. That's what New York has right now. Increased murder rates, increased gun violence, increased everything. Like every crime has skyrocketed. New Yorkers, I'm pretty sure, do not want that. Like I said, all Donald Trump has to say is your Democrats have failed you. The party of the Democrats, the party of the Democrats have failed you. All they've given you is chaos, violence, destruction. They destroyed your homes. They've killed your children. You vote for me, now we'll make sure everything stops. And then I guarantee you, people are gonna want to listen to that guy. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think we're looking at a 1984 situation? Now, I'm not saying in terms of a landslide, but do you think a lot of these states that are usually blue, do you think we're going to see a lot of them turn red? Now, New York, I'm willing to bet somewhat, and again, not yet, but I'm willing to partially bet that New York might turn red. And if any case, I'm willing to put in a bet that say there's going to be more Republican votes in New York compared to the last election. Like I said, I don't think New York is going to turn red just yet. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of people vote Republican this time around compared to previous elections. Compared, for example, the general elections of Obama and Bush, right? But again, I'm willing to put that bet. Now, I'm not willing to put the bet that New York will turn red. But more Republicans in New York? Definitely. I'm willing to put that bet. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree that New York is willing to listen to Trump this time around? Do you think Trump is going to be able to easily convince people to vote for him after all the chaos that's been running around in New York City? Do you also agree that people do not want to live in a place filled with crime? I know I don't, but what about you? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, share this video. I'm near 100 subscribers. It's not a lot to you, I know, but I never really expected this channel to be as big as I thought it was going to be. I've only had this for like about a year, over a year now, and honestly, it's 100, nearly 97 subscribers. It's actually a blessing. So you guys, for sharing this video, thank you. I appreciate you sharing the video because it's because of you this channel has grown in terms of subscribers. But like I said, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in a bit in regards to another incident happening in Chicago. I'll see you guys in a bit.